Okay, opening up NWA Worldwide Wrestling episode for January 19th, 1985. We see Tully Blanchard at a private airport, and apparently he's waiting for his perfect 10. Perfect woman has arrived as the plane pulls up. David Crockett is with Dusty Rhodes interviewing him, and he has a very small hand truck, a pulley, if you will, with a couple of bags. And Dusty is saying he has 2 to 3 bags of paper money worth $10,000. He tells David Crockett, "Stick a hand in there and pull the money out. Show it everybody." He pulls out coins. He says they're Susan B. Anthony silver dollars. $10,000. Susan B. Anthony silver dollars. He's challenging Tully Blanchard for his TV title. Says, "You've been, how much money you got? Oh, I've got money. Let's put this money together. Let's get a contract signing anytime, anywhere." Alright, the first jobber match of the episode is Rageable Manny Fernandez. He comes out against jobber Doug Vines. And you first hear Bull come out to the music of Michael Jackson's Beat It, and it's a very instrumental part of the song. It takes a while. Manny Fernandez takes a while to come out to the ring, but then when he kind of runs out, but he's wearing his long leather pants like chaps and a bandana and shirt. He quickly gets them off, and you would think that it would take time to get the leather pants off down to his tights. No, it's surprising how fast he got them off, and then by the time the lyrics start, the match is ready to start. And Doug Vines, I know jobbers are supposed to, their talent enhancement and to show, give the superstars the limelight, to shine. This guy didn't fight whatsoever. Man, he clobbered him completely. But when Raging Bull climbs the top rope, he's gonna do like a knee drop onto Doug Vine's head. The unfortunate thing about when they do a replay, Worldwide Wrestling does replays of the ending of how the pinfall occurs. They do slow motion. Oh, that's not a good thing to do. And they do that almost every match, especially the jobber matches. And then you can see how carefully it's always been how carefully choreographed these guys land, not to hurt each other. And when they're doing a full, the actual match, how it very much looks like they're making full impact. When they do a slow video replay, that doesn't help the credibility of how much of an impact that move is supposed to be, whether to arm, whether it's to the head, and Bull was, Major Bull was kneeing the guy's arm, under his upper arm, and it looked like he should have been hurting. Really damaging arm, damaging the veins, damaging the ligaments. It's incredible how well trained they'll make such an unimpact that it makes it look so real. Honest to God, looks so real that they're making a really harmful impact. Now, when Raging Bull drops his knee on Doug's head, you can see this in the slow motion replay how Manny's foot hits the mat, but his whole red boot and his knee does not make contact with his head at all. We're not supposed to be looking at that, but the video replay unfortunately does show that. But he pins Doug Vine after that knee drop from the top rope. Alright, next, David Crockett is interviewing and talking with Avalanche Buzz Tyler. He comes out very quiet and distraught. And even David Crockett said, you're not your dancing self, wild self. What's wrong? And he says, okay, we need to show a video. Apparently it's from the other tape, one of Crockett's other tapings, Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. Bob Caudle, and there's no audio of this, but they show a kind of a slow motion video. Bob Caudle is with Black Bart, and apparently he has something of Buzz Tyler's. It looks like a T-shirt, but it's like vaguely ripped up, but Black Bart in not super slow motion, but it's vague off slow motion, and he's ripping his shirt. I think not to shreds, but ripping it a couple of times. But it's a black shirt. You have no idea what it says on it. You see a red spot. If there's an image or whatever it is, but Buzz Tyler is really distraught over this, and he said he just over and over about, I'm being from South Carolina, I'm from South Carolina, but Black Bart tearing this whatever it was, a shirt. He's got him so pissed and ticked off. You're gonna bring the evil out of me, Black Bart. You want to be evil? I'll bring the evil. I'll bring the evil. It's. I have no idea what Black Bart was ripping up. It looked like a black shirt. It was so vague, but it's going to push for another show, Greensboro, Roanoke, because these are Virginia-based TV tapings. So they're looking at a Black Bart, Buzz Tyler feud coming. All right, first what I'm about to talk about. First, it started as a jobber match. It was the unpredictable Dick Slater against a guy. They call him the Inferno #1. Apparently, a tag team, the Infernos, in a total red mask. And a couple things interesting before it gets really, really wild. And they're not even talking about this Inferno guy in a red suit. No. First, referee Tommy Young, Dick Slater attempts to rip or grab the mask off this Inferno guy. And the referee is like waving his hands like he's going to disqualify Slater. And then Slater at first he looked like he's going to throw him on the top rope, which, man. The NWA territories apparently don't like over the top rope. They call that disqualification, and all of us wrestling fans, all those school fans hate that over the top rope disqualification because it's worthless, but it's an easy way to get to end the match. And no, Slater looked like he's going to throw him over the top rope, but no, he pulls him back and then throws him through a middle rope. And then, he continued, but it's still, Dick Slater continues to grapple with this Inferno. Then, Tony and David are at ringside, and they're commentating. And they say James J. Dillon, who had put a bounty, I'm not sure how much, they never said amount of money yet. They put J.J. Dillon put a bounty against Dick Slater. However, David and Tony say J.J. Dillon at first. You hear the voice of Terry Funk, the middle-aged crazy Terry Funk, and late like Terry Funk said he's here to collect a $25,000. If I'm not mistaken, a $25,000 or some. I'm thinking he said the amount of money. I'm here to collect the bounty, the amount of bounty, and it wasn't at ringside. It was at the studio area, the background area where they do interviews. And J.J. Dillon saying he's telling Terry Funk, I got a lot of money, and I'm going to offer more money than you've ever have collected in your whole life. Terry Funk contradicts that and says, you don't know how much money I made my whole life, but I'll collect any, if you got guaranteed money, I'll take care of the situation. And Terry Funk says, okay, do you want me to take care of Dick Slater right now? And he says, and JJ is saying, hey, the sooner the better. And Terry Funk, I'll do it right now. And Terry Funk goes out to take on Dick Slater, and Dick Slater realizes this. He pretty much just about to the point of ignoring this Red Inferno guy, this jobber. In a moment that Terry Funk he goes to the end of the ring, on comes Dillon's other two, the tag team of Black Bart, Long Riders, Black Bart and Ron Bass. So the three of them triple team Dick Slater, and they all clobber him in the corner of the ring. And I couldn't see at first in the video replay who did this. They pile drive. I thought it was Bass or Bart. No, it was Terry Funk pile drives Dick Slater, and Bass and Bart help him, so it turns out a spike pile driver. When a wrestler gets double teamed, two guys are doing it to come as a spike pile driver, but it's Terry Funk putting Dick Slater in a pile drive hold, and Bass, Black Bart, Ron Bass, they help him, so it's a triple spike pile driver. And it really lays out Dick Slater, and then Terry Funk takes look like a belt, and he starts whipping Slater. Then he takes the belt, wraps it around Slater's neck, and starts strangling with him. Starts strangling Slater with it. A bunch of jobbers come out. It looks like 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Bunch of and Bass Bart. They're all fighting off the jobbers trying to help him. Then comes Raging Bull Manny Fernandez, then Magnum TA, then Dusty Rhodes, and Terry Funk is not letting go of this belt that he's strangling Slater. Wow. Magnum jumps on Dick Slater. Manny Fernandez is hitting on Man, and they're trying to pull Slater away. Manny Fernandez is fighting off Terry Funk. Terry Funk has got this belt around Dick Slater's neck Terry Funk's outside the ring. He's still holding on to the belt, strangling Slater. They can't make Terry Funk let go. Eventually Terry Funk lets go. He's screaming his head off at all of them that they helping Dick Slater. That's Worldwide Wrestling. They call Dick Slater unpredictable. This is Worldwide Wrestling. Unpredictable mayhem. Okay, the next interview or video we want to call it. David Crockett is now announcing that Tully Blanchard has found his perfect 10. And the opening clip of this episode is Tully Blanchard at a private airport. He gets out of a limousine waiting for this private jet to pull up. David Crockett says, okay, let's see who it is. And again, Tully gets out of the limousine, a small private jet pulls up, and out comes Baby Doll. Nicola Roberts is her name. In blonde hair, dark sunglasses, she's holding a bottle of wine, black leather jacket, boots, and then she approaches Tully. She's got these dark sunglasses on. She approaches Tully, and they are... Tully and Baby Doll, they wrap around each other like two snakes. The way I could describe that, they are making out heavy. Good Lord. They approach. Okay, when Tully gets in the limousine, Baby Doll then looks at the limo driver, slightly pulls her sunglasses down and winks at him. They get in the limousine. They begin making out again. Now. And they close the door. Tully and Baby Doll look at a camera and they're driving off. Now, I don't know, it was some months back that Baby Doll, Nicola Roberts, is on Facebook, and we've been talking about her. She loves seeing her wrestling past and posting videos, images of herself. She loved it. I asked her, do you, of all the videos and interviews that you've done on any wrestling program. That was the only time you ever kissed anybody on camera. You were making out with Tully. Yeah? That was the only time you ever did that. Yeah? She said, yeah, true. She was the hang-around valet. She's always with Tully or with whomever later on. And that was the only moment she ever kissed anybody. In her whole time she ever was a valet or manager, sidekick, whatnot. What is the point of the punk rocker outfit? She stays that way till probably the fall of '85. Later, because she changes a little bit, reaching the Starrcade time period. But later in the summer, she stays the punk rock. She's dressed in a leather jacket. Not really much makeup. It's punk. Those that listen to punk rock, the leather jacket, their bandanas, and it's a weird outfit for her to see in. But the makeout scene is the only time you'll ever see this is in this particular video. It's just strange to see how she eventually transforms from the punk leather jacket an outfit into the dresses. As she later changes. But this is a unique video. It's Baby Doll's official debut. Nicola Roberts' official debut is Baby Doll. Tully Blanchard's Perfect 10. Okay, next up is a jobber tag team match. Assassin number 1, which is Jody Hamilton, and teams up with Steve Casey, the new guy out of Europe, versus jobbers Jeff Sword and Bella Alexander. Now, this match is almost not paid attention to. David and Tony are talking so much about other things, they don't really pay attention to this match at all. The first thing they talk about is, they just got done watching the video of Baby Doll's Tully Blanchard's Perfect 10 arrival, and they want to know she's in town. Can't wait to see her. And hope she's on the show. First, they talk about that. Then they talk about Dick Slater's injury, what his outcome is. Then they talk about Steve Casey and that he's out of Europe. However, David Crockett has always had a history of saying things that really are not concrete evidence. Yeah, David has a history of saying things that really are not confirmed or goes overboard on saying things that maybe future plans or just off the cuff. It's not it's not set in stone whether it's gonna take place. Okay, what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is, okay, he says Steve Case, he's out of Europe. Yes, he just says European heavyweight champ. He stops himself talking like, oh, I messed up. He's not a European heavyweight champion. David has a history of doing that crap. That's maybe some of the things he's so wild at what he says. He doesn't think before he says things. He just jumps the gun and says something, but it's not confirmed. He just throws things out there that are not really legitimate, concrete on what it. It just he's just that's what a lot of things that David's wild at is talking. He doesn't think before he says it. Is it true? Is it fact? They do go back to looking at the match itself, and then Jeff Sword and Ben Alexander kind of vaguely tag out because there's no way they're gonna take on they're Steve Casey and Assassin One. They're no match for them. Then I say again, they vaguely do talk about the match itself. Then David Crockett says something that, okay, I had to look up the history records because I thought I had heard about this type of show coming up. Coming soon, he says we have we're looking forward to Lords of the Ring. Okay, it may be something happening later in 1985. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Okay, I thought I heard about that show before it maybe takes place in 85. I looked up records, history of WWE.com, because McMahon now, as of now, owns all videotape libraries, and the website carries all Jim Crockett's history from 83 to now. So I thought I'd heard this show, Lords of the Ring, before. I wasn't sure it was a later 1985 show. No, and then there were actually two shows of the same name. One happened in 1978. One happened in 1984. Dusty Rhodes took on Harley Race in one show. Dusty Rhodes took on Ric Flair in another show. But this is back in. One Lord of the Ring took place in June of 84. The other one happened in 1978. And then I could search the website for Jim Crockett Promotions on 1985 on the website and hit search for Lord of the Ring. Nothing comes up except David Crockett making this announcement. There you go. He makes announcements that are not confirmed concrete fact. Here's the history of this. But no, in the jobber match, Steve Casey. I think Steve Casey puts, I think it's Ben Alexander in a airplane spin and then drops him down and pins him for the winner in the jobber tag match. But I said David and Tony are over talking this match like it's not really even happening. They talk some information about what's going on in the show, but don't pay attention to the match itself. But eventually they say, now as young Steve Casey out of Europe and the Assassin number 1, they win his job tag team match. But they were spending so much time talking about what's going on in the show rather than the match itself, and more David has a history of that problem. That's one of the things maybe nobody likes about David, whether he's overzealous on being on the faces, the good guys, or he's wild at what he says about the moves and hits. But this particular moment, this particular match, they ignore the match itself. Next, David Crockett is interviewing Ivan and Nikita Koloff, and they're holding what originally is the NWA World Six-Man Tag Team Trophy. I think it was kind of a vague jealousy that World Class Wrestling originally had, World Class Championship Wrestling out of Texas, they had a trophy for the Six-Man Tag Team title, and I think that they wanted to continue it. Because the popularity of the Von Erich Boys, they had the Six-Man Tag Team Trophy, and they were going back and forth with the Freebirds, and they had a trophy title before it was changed to title belts. So I think Crockett wanted to copy that, and I think it was just they never said if the Russians had if they were handed the title, they were awarded the title, who they defeated for this title. And Ivan Koloff says they're adding on Crusher Khrushchev as their third partner, and they're saying first he says Ivan's saying how amazing that Nikita has learned the English language in just a few months, and we're gonna be dealing World Tag Team Champions Dusty Rhodes, Manny Fernandez, and they call Dusty Rhodes' American Dream, and you'll see what the American Dream is like, and Nephew Nikita hates all Americans, and then they show a clip of where Nikita attacked Ricky Steamboat. That clip that Steamboat had showed in the last episode. The one thing I didn't mention before, that it's possibly that the some of the staff in the wherever this was taped, that the Ricky Steamboat he said he was being baited by Ivan Koloff for a fight, and where Steamboat had left Bob Caudle in the TV taping stage, he comes down, approaches the ring. Now, when Nikita Koloff comes behind and sickles or clotheslines Ricky Steamboat to the ground, right as Nikita charges from the back door or dressing room area, a guard. It looked like he was like a deputy or sheriff or somebody, like local police as guards for the arena, because he didn't see Nikita Koloff coming. He rushes right past him. And he's stunned by the way Nikita rushed past him and then hit Ricky Steamboat. The guy had to realize, okay, this guy is part of the show, not a fan. You should see the guy's face. He didn't expect Nikita to go rushing past him. But this is the introduction of the World Six-Man Tag Team Trophy the Russians now have. And they're also saying that Dusty Rhodes, Manny Fernandez is the tag team champions. Also Don Cornotto and Ricky Steamboat. Watch out for the Russians. No, it's the heel promo. At the Russians are the World Six-Man Tag Team Champions. Okay, next event they actually had is something that was ended the previous episode on the 12th. That they call him Starship Eagle or American Starship Eagle. That's been a confusing name because they're acting like it's coming from a stable of people. He's part of the Starship, part of the American Starship. Starship Eagle, this guy, I guess it's Jim Crockett's Jim Crockett's version of Barry Windham. He's a tall guy. Kind of blondish hair, kind of, but he challenged Paul Jones's now bounty hunter. I'm not gonna say bounty hunter, but Superstar Billy Graham. Paul Jones had brought in Superstar Billy Graham, playing to get this martial arts gimmick, karate guy gimmick, and because Billy Graham is such incredibly muscular, that Starship Eagle said he could break the full Nelson of Superstar Billy Graham. So the challenge was on. They just did this, and they were Billy Graham first approached the camera outside the ring, throwing his hands around. It wasn't as wild as the previous episode. It was really a good display, a quick throw display to the camera. Then he gets in the ring and does the same thing, the martial arts karate gimmick, throwing his arms around. It wasn't as wild as the one in the previous episode at all. And kind of mouthing off between Graham and Starship Eagle, a little mouthing off. But Starship Eagle, he's a bit taller. David and Tony say that he is a bit taller than Billy Graham, a little bit. Yeah, Barry Windham was a tall guy too. He puts his arms up. He says, "I'm ready for this Paul Nelson challenge." And Graham, and Superstar Billy Graham, he gets ready. He comes from behind. He does a kick or a punch very vaguely. He throws Starship Eagle's attention off by kind of a hit to the back. But then he puts him in the full Nelson. Here's the problem. David and Tony were right that his height, I think it is his height, that Billy Graham, he got his arms around in a full Nelson, but he did not get his fingers locked in right. And another thing that went wrong with trying to break the hold is they were both against the ropes. I'm surprised that referee Tommy Young didn't pull away, because that's not really helping either of them to do a proper full Nelson challenge. And so Billy Graham had the full Nelson on, but no fingers locked. His whole fingers around Starship Eagle's back of his head. They were touching. Graham's fingers were kind of vaguely touching. They were on top of the back of Starship Eagle's head. They were not locked. Fingers locked together. No. And they went against the ropes, and Starship Eagle's arms and whatnot, they're against the ropes. So They were saying it's supposed to be 30 it has to be a 30-second challenge, and even Paul Jones is watching it. He's looking at a watch and see if Starship Eagle could break or pull away from Graham's full Nelson, despite the fact he doesn't have his fingers locked. And eventually, the referee is looking at the timekeeper, and Jones is looking at his watch, and apparently the 30 seconds expires, and they're saying that Starship Eagle did not break Graham's full Nelson hold. He didn't even attempt to pull his arms down or pull his arms away, to pull Graham's arms away out of a full Nelson lock. Not the finger lock, but his arms around Starship Eagle. He didn't pull away. The whole time they were against the ropes. But a 30-second time limit expired, and Graham just throws Starship Eagle right flat to the mat. He didn't move. He wasn't even moving. Barbarian comes in. It looks like he's going to attack Starship Eagle, but Paul Jones holds him back. And this full Nelson challenge was over because Starship Eagle didn't. Even though Graham did not lock his fingers in a finger locking position, Graham held Starship Eagle in a arm. He got his arms out pretty good around Eagle's shoulders, around his arms. He had him I'd say 80-90% was in full. The full Nelson was in effect, but not the fingers. But Starship Eagle did not pull or break Graham's arms away enough, and the 30 seconds expired, and Graham's is still undefeated with the full Nelson challenge. Alright, next is an interview. David Crockett interviews United States Heavyweight Champion Chief Wahoo McDaniel. And it's still on and on about that Ric Flair is not... he can't get Ric Flair into a world title match. He's repeating... This is an interesting interview, to say the least. Holy cow. It is. A lot is said in this interview. A lot. That he keeps calling Ric Flair the NWA heavyweight champion of the world, and I've always been conflicting that. People say it doesn't matter. Fans say it don't matter. I always like the term world heavyweight champion rather than heavyweight champion of the world. A lot of things are said by Wahoo McDaniel. He says a couple different and there's other challenging names. There's major wrestling stars that are challengers. He calls them instead of saying Magnum TA, he calls them TA Magnum. Okay. He also says there's also the national heavyweight champion Ron Garvin. Really? They're recognizing the national title? Just as this company is going to go nationwide, they're still in the Mid-Atlantic region, and the national title is based out of Atlanta, Georgia. And I had to look up the history, and yes, Ron Garvin at the time is the national heavyweight champion, because Ron Garvin was also in Georgia, the national television champion in the Georgia territory. And so he had the national title. Eventually, the national title is because Crockett is more associated and eventually buys out the Georgia territory. This year, coming in this year with this, and within a month or two, they're going to buy the Georgia territory. And so they're recognizing Ron Garvin, the national heavyweight champion. Another thing that really shook me is, whoa, how did I miss that one? They finally acknowledge Philadelphia, and they have the February 5th and February 28th shows at the Philadelphia Civic Center. Wahoo McDaniel says doesn't matter what city. He names a couple cities, but he also names Philadelphia. It doesn't matter where. He'll defend it. I'm the greatest wrestler in the United States. That's why he's United States champion, and I'll defend this against anywhere, anyone, anytime. Among cities he mentions Philadelphia, and somehow I missed that. That this is the first time Philadelphia is mentioned with Jim Crockett Promotions. But this was an interview by Wahoo McDaniel that he's still aggressively going after Ric Flair. That Ric Flair, despite a lot of guys have helped you along the way on your quest to win the NWA World Heavyweight title. You've turned your backs on them, but I'm the United States champion. I'm the number one contender. Next is a jobber tag team match. Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions Ron Bass Black Bart with James J. Dillon. And this time JJ is not wearing his red tuxedo. He's wearing a typical black tuxedo, ruffle and bow tie. They're going to be facing Tommy Lane and NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion Denny Brown. I was always a big fan of Denny Brown myself. But Black Bart almost got an upset pin. Denny Brown did a sunset flip on Black Bart, and they said, whoa, they almost caught Black Bart off guard. And almost, no, I don't know if the titles were on the line or not. Denny Brown is actually, even with the Junior Championship, he's a top-notch wrestler. They said that you don't want to mess with somebody with a championship. Denny Brown is an up-and-coming star, and but as soon as he tagged out to Tommy Lane, Black Bart quickly got him in a kind of a power slam and finished the match off, and Black Bart pinned Tommy Lane. But Denny Brown really surprised everybody doing a sunset flip on Black Bart and nearly pinned him. But Ron Bass, Black Bart remained, Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions in his jobber tag match. Okay, with an interview segment that with J.J. Dillon and Terry Funk. And Terry Funk really, yeah, middle-aged and crazy. Terry Funk. He took care of Dick Slater like he said he would. He called him an airhead. And the thing is, he was demanding that J.J. Dillon pay him the money, the bounty hunter money. And Terry Funk was calling himself a bounty hunter. He was really mouthing off Terry Funk. He said he does not work for J.J. Dillon. He does not work for Jim Crockett Promotions. I don't work for any conglomerate wrestling promotion. I work for myself. I want the money. The one thing that, besides he called Dick Slater an airhead, I don't care if he went after Dusty Rhodes, saying that egg-sucking dog Dusty Rhodes, whoa. Suddenly, it was David Crockett, JJ, they clamored on, like, when he said that about Dusty, then they started talking that phrase, and Terry Funk has been saying it. I don't know whether it's honestly got staged or it's personal. That the thing between Dusty Rhodes and Terry Funk. Every time Terry Funk has said that, I don't know whether it is that they have had heat between themselves, or it's just in character. I don't know. Every time Terry Funk has said egg sucking dog, it's like foul language toward Dusty Rhodes. So honestly, God, I don't know if that's staged or it's heat. That's real heat between the two. But it was a segment that Terry Funk is saying, I took care of Dick Slater, now pay me my money, despite the fact they never showed J.J. Dillon hand him anything that was going to pay off the bounty that he apparently collected getting rid of Dick Slater. Alright, I wouldn't call it a jobber match or not a jobber match. NWA Television Champion Tully Blanchard will take on Mike Davis, and he is a former Junior Heavyweight Champion. If I'm not mistaken, Danny Brown defeated Mike Davis for the Junior title in Starrcade 84. If I'm not mistaken, or it's 83, I'm pretty sure it's 84. Mike Davis really gave Tully, he shined. Mike Davis really gave Tully Blanchard a fast-paced match, and David Crockett got a little bit overzealous, as he usually does, really selling it that Mike Davis gave Tully Blanchard a hard time. And it kind of worried the debut, the debut of the Perfect 10 at ringside with Tully Blanchard. Here's here's a really strange thing about her debut with Tully Blanchard in Tully's corner. David and Tony call her baby doll first before Tully ever says anything on camera. That's interesting. They labeled her baby doll first. And okay, she's wearing her black punk rock leather jacket, not wearing sunglasses. But she's also wearing, apparently, it's a fur coat, but it's like a top half. I'm not sure what you would actually call it. I'm not an expert on garments, on dress, on what women wear. But it's a kind of a upper half, like a shoulder top of a fur coat with looks like raccoon tails. There's like six or some odd these tails hanging from the leather jacket. Yeah, that will be really popular today with the SPCA or associations that are against animal outfits. That I don't know how well that would go over today. But it was strange to see that. Yeah, it's in January, so it's in the winter. So she wore a kind of fur coat against Tully gave her, and the black leather jacket. And at times when Mike Davis was really taking it to Tully, he was really giving him a hell of a hard time. And David and Tony were saying, "Oh man, he said he could upset Tully right in front of Baby Doll for the television title at $10,000." No, but Tully Blanchard eventually takes down Mike Davis with a slingshot suplex. But they don't call it the slingshot suplex yet. When he executes the move, he's like on the top rope. He coming off the top rope. So they yet to label that finishing move the slingshot suplex. Maybe in this particular match, but he pins Mike Davis, retaining the TV title and holding on that $10,000 using the slingshot suplex. Alright, we close NWA Worldwide Wrestling for January 19th with David Crockett is going to now interview Tully Blanchard. Just got done the match with Mike Davis and meet Baby Doll for the first time. Tully Blanchard says that he had to go all the way to Texas. They acknowledge that. To go all the way to Texas to meet Baby Doll and find the perfect 10. And they actually have Baby Doll go on the mic and say, Tully, he said he had all these ugly women and now he meets the perfect woman. And Baby Doll says that both Baby Doll and Tully say to David, "You're speechless. You got anything?" And Tully Blanchard says to David Crockett, he asked him, he says, "You got anything to ask her?" And David says nothing. And they both said, "We left him speechless." Now, the thing was about how Nicola Roberts found this situation, the Baby Doll, the Perfect 10 role, that when they announced in the first 2 weeks of January that they were doing this Perfect 10 search, this woman, that they wanted women, anywhere in the country could send in a photo and be part of this so-called competition for Tully to find someone to hang out with him. Nicola Roberts, Baby Doll, said that she did not even know about this occult competition, that they were looking for this Perfect 10 role. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what she said, that who brought to her attention. Was it Tully or somebody else in the Crockett organization approached her about doing this, his valet, the Perfect 10 valet, Baby Doll. So she has said in interviews she did not know about this Tully Blanchard looking for the Perfect 10 situation. The video, she didn't even know about it. She was approached a little bit later that they were looking for a person to hang out with Tully. And David did ask Baby Doll, how did you meet Tully? And she says, "Oh, I've known Tully a long time." So this is the official introduction of Baby Doll. So that's it for this week in NWA Worldwide Wrestling for January 19th. If you like this video, please subscribe, comment, like or dislike, and thank you for watching.